Okay, so let's just talk practically. You got your battery charged. You got your SD card in the camera. And you've chosen the lens you want to use. This is just the kit lens. Okay, well, let me take this opportunity to show you. This is a wide angle lens, and I don't know if you can see how that lens kind of bows out like almost like a fisheye, but this isn't technically a fisheye. It's just a wide angle. This is my telephoto lens. Longer, it can go out, you see, and I can bring the image in close. This is good for wildlife photography, close up, like macro, close up of flowers. This is my beauty. This is my 85mm portrait lens. This has got a gold band on it. Expensive. That's one way you can identify how expensive a lens is, by the color bands they have. This is another one I love. It's my 50mm. This one is beautiful for product photography, for getting a photo of something that's, and you want the rest of it blurred out. You just want that one little tiny thing. This is beautiful. My son uses it all the time. He does great just everyday photography with the 50mm. I found it took a while for me to understand the focus on it. This lens lets in a lot of light. That's a whole nother story. But you can shoot in darker places with a 50mm. Okay, again, with my kit. Okay, so you've chosen the lens you're going to use for the situation. You've got your battery charged, you got your SD card in, and now you're going to turn your camera on, right? And take the lens cap off if you had it on, and then you're going out to shoot. So remember, we got it on autofocus. We've got the ISO, automatic, so you don't have to think about that. And now all you have to do is think about your aperture and your shutter. Okay, so let's say that I go out and I see a squirrel. I want to get a picture of, oh, torn. I'm torn because I want to get this nice blur around this beautiful little creature, but also it might move and I might want to catch it in action. Decisions. So you got to decide what you want from that photo. Let's say that you see a beautiful sunset, right? The light's getting dim, okay? So you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to have to, what do you want to do? Get a big wide view of the sunset? Then what you think mentally back to your little chart, and you say, okay, I want to get almost everything in focus. So that means you have this tiny little bit of light coming in, which means that you're going to have a lot of time to expose that sensor. So your shutter's going to have to be really slow till it's going to go and stay open for a little bit and then come back closed. So you probably need a tripod. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there for a longer amount of time, more chance of blurring. Let's say that you're out at that same sunset, but there's a sea oat, a plant coming up, and you're like, I want to just take a picture of that. Okay, well, open that aperture up so that you can get that small depth of field where just that one little plant is in focus and the rest of it is blurred. And then that way you have a lot of light, and then you adjust your shutter accordingly, right? This back, what do they call it? Back something focusing, back button, back something focusing. Anyway, the way to use your back, if you have this kind of camera and you have that, it's taught me a lot about what's going to work and because I see it in live view. There you go. I see it in live view. What my photo's going to look like, and that's very helpful. So I hope this little series helps. Just you don't have to leave a comment here on YouTube, but you can send me a message, through my other ways. And if you have a question or you want me to make a little video about something. Now remember, I'm not master photographer, but and you can look up things. You can Google your questions and have other more experienced and talented people help you. And also, they may have another way of explaining it that you can understand. But I just wanted to get you out there shooting, get you out and not be so afraid of this, and make it manageable, because it is overwhelming when you first get your camera. So let's bring it down to some manageable, bite-sized pieces. Let's just talk about aperture and shutter. Everything else is automatic. But then once you have this down and you're feeling good and confident about those two things, then add your ISO settings. Make your sensor more sensitive or less sensitive. Then you can also go manual focus, because, you know, think about it. When you're out shooting and you're trying to focus and you've got to do all these settings, it gets a little cumbersome. So just as a beginner, I suggest that. Okay? Well, happy shooting, and I hope you enjoy it. I sure do. All right, bye.